please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Mueller?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Supervisor Williams?
Here. Counselor, you're up.
Public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, on January 24th, 2024, an amendment to Patterson Town Code Chapter 154 entitled Zoning, which amendment will prohibit the dispensing or sales of tobacco and vape products within the hamlet of Patterson. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York will hold a public hearing on the aforesaid amendment at the town offices, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on February 28, 2024, at 7:00 p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodation should contact the town clerk.
Very nice. So essentially what we are doing, or we are adopting a local law tonight, or we are considering it anyway, to prohibit the dispensing or sale of tobacco or vape products along Front Street or along 311 for a distance of 2,500 feet from the intersection of Front Street. Essentially what that does is you cannot have vape sales within the area. There are certain businesses that are already doing vape sales. They would be considered a pre-existing non-conforming use, but they would not be allowed to expand their areas of operation. So with that, we will open it up to the public. If anybody wishes to step forward to the mic, give your name and address for the record, and please make your comments or questions.
Hi, good afternoon. Molly Franco. I serve as the Community Engagement Coordinator for Power Against Tobacco for Putnam and Westchester counties. We're a grantee of the state's Advancing Tobacco-Free Communities program, and we're housed out of the American Lung Association. Our broader mission is to work to protect the health of all people through tobacco control policy, advocacy, and education. Our bottom line is that we believe everyone has the right to breathe clean, smoke-free air where they live, work, shop, and play. The increased availability of tobacco products perpetuates social norms about tobacco use. It increases exposure to industry point-of-sale advertising, marketing, and products. It reduces the search costs for tobacco products. It contributes to social and environmental inequities, and it increases brand recognition, and it encourages impulse purchases of tobacco products. It cues cravings, and it undermines quit attempts. A few months ago, I was given the opportunity to educate you all about the dangers associated with an increased tobacco retailer presence in this community, and I'm happy to see that the town board is moving forward to acknowledge the concerns of Patterson residents and the health of their loved ones. So thank you for taking action on this policy matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to?
Evening. Scott Seaman, actually Town of Southeast. I applaud the effort that you're doing. I was just at a Southeast meeting, and they are trying something similar as well. At this time, the risk to the young people, our students, and anybody to these type of products is just unproportional to what's going on. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott.
Good evening, Kristen McConnell. I live at 85 West Street in Patterson, and I just wanted to thank Supervisor and the board for your proactive measures tonight. As you know, I feel very strongly about this, and it will be very important for young people as they go to the rec center, the library, the school, the tots and us, that they not pass a vape shop or smell it or see advertising, because we all know that that contributes to their use and the health and safety of the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll open it up for comments from anybody who is joining us by Zoom. If anybody on our Zoom link, if you would just unmute and give your name and address for the record and make your comment or ask your question. Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, who would like to audit the
I
bills?
have one question.
Okay, go ahead.
Too late. Where, how far is 2,500 feet if you make a,
Takes you out to the
20.
intersection.
to 20?
Well, I think it takes you out to the high tension lines, power lines, crossing 311.
So then like the double bag, which is gonna become vacant, I've heard,
Right.
would be outside that limitation. Yes.
Maybe.
Is
I don't know, I'd have to
25 the
admit.
maximum we can do,
No.
or it was just a number we came up with?
It's a number that we came up with.
Okay, and we don't wanna take it out all the way to 22 for any reason, or?
Well, we were confining it mostly to the hamlet,
Mm-hmm.
because of the schools, because of the rec center, because of the daycare. We don't want vape products, we don't want cigarette products around our youth, our
Yeah.
children.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that was the core where we were focusing the area. We certainly can take it further, I don't know, we wouldn't have to renotice that.
We have to redo this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't-
Yeah. And we can always, expand
Add
it
to it.
in the future,
Okay.
but at least this is a good first step.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I think that if you're going to stop at a certain point after that, or you're going to continue to 22, it might affect the mobile station. So I don't know how.
Yeah, my concern is that there's, the one on the corner is for sale. I don't know that that would become, Fanny Doolittle's. And now I heard that there's gonna be a vacancy in that.
Duffel bag.
Duffel bag building.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that was just a concern I had,
Sure.
Get by on the technicality
It's a
by
good
100
concern.
feet.
Are we good?
Yes. I
Okay.
guess so.
Okay, we're good.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 3 dated February 16th, 2024, in the amount of $1,575,489.90. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a couple of budget transfers here tonight. The first budget transfer, the budget adjustment is necessary to carry forward 2023 budget balances with interest for the EMS building, Dorset Hollow Extension, boardwalk, recreation playground, and landfill monitoring projects. We'll be making an increase to the fund balance designated capital projects for $320,816.64. And we'll also be increasing ambulance equipment and capital outlay, $157,743.66. The boardwalk project for $9,724.87. The water capital projects, Dorset Hollow Extension, $133,095.65. And refuse and garbage equipment and capital outlay landfill monitoring project at $824.56. I'd like to make a motion to approve 2024 budget adjustment request number 1 dated February 28th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have for 2024 budget transfer request number 2. This budget transfer is necessary to reallocate funds for necessary training accounts for the supervisor and planner for the MS4 training program. So we'll be taking $1,250 from the contingent account, expense account, and we will be moving that to the supervisor training, $375, and the planner training, $875. So I'd like to make a motion to approve 2024 budget transfer request number 2 dated February 28th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving right on.
Moving right on, we have some EMS requests from Administrator Kearns. Below is a proposed fee schedule for the EMS standby service for a scheduled event requiring a dedicated BLS ambulance standby where the town of Patterson EMS is being contracted. The following fee schedule would be used to determine the cost. A single BLS ambulance staffed with 2 EMTs for a minimum of 4 hours at $75 per hour. If there would be a need for more resources required due to the size of the event, location, or administrative coordination of EMS services, the fee would be negotiated based on resource necessity. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Mr. Administrator Kern's request for the 4 hours at $75 per hour. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Sure.
You're not gonna do the second part?
I'm sorry.
I don't wanna do the second part. I think, listen, leaving it up to him to negotiate administrative
Oh,
fees
yes.
is, but I'm very happy you stopped at
Yes.
the 4 hours at $75 an hour.
Thank
So,
you.
Anyone else?
I'm not negotiating anything today.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're good.
Okay. Second request coming from our emergency medical services would be a resignation of an employee, Mr. Richard Hackett. He's an EMT for the town of Patterson. He's resigned effective date 2/29/24, so that would be tomorrow. He's accepted another job offer in a firefighter career for Lake Mohegan Fire District. I wish Richard, Mr. Hackett, a lot of luck, and thank you for your service with the town of Patterson. And I'd like to approve the resignation of such employee. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We're adopting a resolution, this is adopting a resolution this next one?
This resolution, yes.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution to appoint Patricia Sutton to the Putnam Lake Park Board. And that's, she would be filling a vacancy, and the end of that term would be December 31st this year. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, recently the town put out some bids for algicide for Putnam Lake. We haven't treated Putnam Lake with algicide for 2 years now. 2 years ago, it worked out fine. Last year, it was, I think everybody agrees, a bit of a disaster because we really didn't open Putnam Lake at all because of the algae that we had in the lake. So we put it out for bid, and we got 2 proposals back in. We've got one in from Pond and Lake Connection for $8,950 per treatment for Q-Train Plus, and $9,550 for Q-Train Ultra, and $300 for getting the DEC permit. Now we got a second bid back in from Solitude Lake Management. You sitting down? Yeah, she's sitting down. Good. So Q-Train Plus per application, $38,139. Q-Train Ultra, $42,191 per application, and the DEC permit would be $1,000. And they're scratching their head how the first bid could be so low and their bid is so high. And I reminded them that in 2022, they were close to the first bid, so they don't know where they came up with these numbers. But I think it's essential that we have this in the toolkit in case we need to go forward. And to do that, we need to file the permits with the DEC and move this forward. And I think if anything showed us that we need to treat the lake with algicide. Last year was just, again, we didn't open. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Pond and Lake Connections bid for Q-Train Plus and Q-Train Ultra, and for the DEC, submitting the DEC permit. Do I have a second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we got that done. Moving right along, Putnam Lake update. So I had a Zoom meeting this week with GEI Consultants. They had promised us that they were gonna get the report out by middle of January, and then it was the middle of February. So I wanted to have a Zoom meeting with them to find out what the delay is. Good part of the delay is one of the individuals principally responsible for writing this is just coming back on maternity leave. And part of the issue is some of the interesting results that they came back with. And, you know, just to hit a couple of topics really quick that we talked about, they did find that there is an awful lot of phosphorus in Putnam Lake, in the lake bottom sediments. And it is mostly bound up to a great extent by iron. And what that means is phosphorus doesn't really exist on its own in the environment. It binds with some other element, and then it sits out there. It's one of the reasons that alum treatments are so good, because what it does is it then allows the phosphorus to bind up with aluminum, and that's a really tight bond, so it's not really available. Well, iron, the least little thing breaks it apart. You get a little bit of low oxygen in the lake, and it breaks apart, and when it breaks apart, it fuels the algae blooms. So clearly, getting that phosphorus out of the lake somehow is going to be a very beneficial task to get done for Putnam Lake, to improve the condition of Putnam Lake. There are a few ways you can do it. You know, sequestration is one way with the alum. Aeration does work to some degree, but it doesn't get all the sediment and muck out. And then we're back to dredging. And they had promised me at this point that they will have the report done by the end of March, so that we can release it to the public and everybody can start digesting what this means for Putnam Lake. This was the first step, and I always knew when we did this, it was only the first step with trying to find a remedy to what's going on with Putnam Lake. That if we are going to dredge, the DEC is going to require a further analysis of the sediments, as well as a further analysis of the watershed surrounding the lake. And to that effect, I did write a grant last year to try to get that work done. And Friday I found out that the town has indeed received another grant in the amount of just over $38,000 to further analyze the lake sediments and further develop the dredging plan.
Okay.
So, good news, we're gonna have to have further conversations with the Park Advisory Board, and Sean, when he comes back, about, you know, the scope of that study, but we're gonna wanna push on that relatively quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Meg, do you have any questions?
I do. Want me to get up to the microphone?
Absolutely.
Okay, the prices are crazy, the differences. The mill rate, is it the same for both companies? Remember,
No, so the the concentration that
Yes.
they apply, yes. So it turns out that anything over 2 parts per million triggers additional restrictions by the DEC, which is why nobody does 2 parts per million. The big question is the depth at which they're applying it to. But they are both applying it at 2 parts per million.
okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is something I brought up last meeting, or somebody brought up last meeting, and it's a problem we're having with the generator. We need to increase the pipe size. Unfortunately, I didn't turn the paper over, and none of the rest of us did, and so we approved the wrong amount. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Adams Plumbing and Heating to replace the gas line going into the generator for the amount of $5,201.10. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We half knew this was coming, and we half budgeted for this, and we actually did fairly good with this. So one of our servers is reaching the end of its useful life. It's working fine, but, you know, we don't want to be caught with a dead server in the middle without, you know, having some alternative. And the server down at the rec center is also reaching the end of its useful life. Our IT consultant has recommended that we replace both of them. I have received a quote from Dell to replace them both. Anybody have any questions on this?
They're both the same unit.
Yeah, we're just duplicating it. All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the quote from Dell Computers for 2 T350 tower servers for the total amount of $9,792.78. So moved.
Second.
All in
Sorry.
favor?
Sorry.
It's all right, you can both
Aye.
second it.
Aye.
Aye.
We're a little off without Sean here. Oh, I'm up.
You're up.
Yes.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, absolutely. I have here a resolution, subsequent to our public hearing, and this is, the adoption of local law number 1, 2024, an amendment to the Patterson Town Code, chapter 154, entitled zoning. It is with great pleasure, and I want to thank both Molly and Kristen for all their hard work that they do every day. The town board of the town of Patterson wishes to amend chapter 154 entitled zoning, which amendment would prohibit the dispensing or sales of tobacco and vape products within the hamlet of Patterson. I'd like to enter this resolution into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to echo her sentiments. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
ladies.
Thank you.
Just gotta keep going.
Yep, keep going.
Keep moving.
Actuator. I don't have any, I just have the bill here, so what is this for?
So this is a spare part for the wastewater treatment plant. It's a
Mhm.
unit that actually goes in one of the SBR units and kind of skims off the sludge.
Okay.
And it's one of the Achilles heels that we have with the plant. We've actually tried rebuilding them in the past. We get limited use out of them. This will be our third new unit since we've had the plant open in 2008.
Well, okay.
And it's a tough one.
Yeah, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of an actuator for the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $15,888.54. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The good news is New York City picks up a good portion of that, so.
That is
Oh,
good news.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have, another resolution in front of me. This comes to us we are doing this again. We are revisiting, okay, the third time. I sit on the traffic safety board, and, it's come to us, one of the investigators made a, recommendation that we reduce the speed limit on a section of Route 22, which goes from 311 past Thunder Ridge. So DOT was in the meeting. They requested that we put a resolution together requesting them to do another study. So I have here a resolution for the DOT to go out and look at and do another study for the reduction in speed limits and elimination of a passing lane on the section of Route 22, which goes from Thunder Ridge Road out to Route 311. So I'd like to take this resolution and enter it into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This actually goes
Thank
from
you.
311 down to Watchtower.
Watchtower.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be what,
Oh, I'm sorry.
45?
Yeah.
You just passed.
So you're gonna have to tell me who I've gotta send this to.
To me.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
No, you can send it to Judy Mira, I would say, and she's the liaison for the traffic safety board. So I
Judy
guess
Hare?
Judy Mira.
Okay, I
Um,
can do that, but usually I send it to somebody at the traffic. But I'll send it to her too.
You could send it to me, I'm the secretary. So if you send it to me in an email, and I'll share it out with the
Yeah,
whole group.
that's fine.
That's there, that's okay?
Yeah,
Or if
no,
you
listen,
want me to
I'll
send
do it
the
any way you wanna do it.
Or if you want me to send you the email,
It's just, like I said,
their
usually, and I
email.
have no problem sharing it, it's just usually I have to send it to somebody at traffic
yeah.
with the DOT. So-
Okay, so I can give you her name, I believe in the email I gave you, Liz, I think it was Liz.
Whatever you wanna do.
Okay,
Just-
I'll just share the email with you.
We'll
and
just
you
get it
can,
out and try again.
We'll do all three, so Judy can put it on our next agenda.
Yeah.
But thank you, I know it's the third time, and,
Well-
not hoping for, more data, stating that there was, more accidents, because we don't want that, but maybe they'll look at it through a different lens this time.
And for everybody in the audience, the reason it's been turned down is because we haven't had enough accidents in that stretch.
Correct, so, we're
We've
not.
had people die there, but that's
Yeah,
not
we're
enough.
not, we're not hoping for more data, but we are hoping for another view,
Correct.
Yeah.
so thank you. Okay, I'm done.
You are done. Peter, you're up.
Make a motion to refund Tesla Energy Operations, Inc., a application fee with the Code Enforcement Office Billing Department in the amount of $214 because they canceled the project. So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Like to make a motion that we approve the amount of $17.50, and that would be for the Western New York Stormwater Management Training series that Michael Rosafort, our town planner, and Supervisor Williams will be attending. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And just so everybody knows, this is MS4 training that is now being required by the new MS4 permit. So, all right, other business. Any board member have any other business at this time?
I do not. Mary?
Yep. You want to do it? We can do it. You want me to do it?
Yeah, I didn't really. look
Okay,
at it.
so, we hired a contractor to take care of the sidewalks in the hamlet. One of the requirements of the bid very specifically laid out is that you can't put a truck on the sidewalk, and that's exactly what he did. And he broke some sewer manholes, and so we need to get them repaired. So we went out, we've got 3 prices. The low bid was actually $2,500 from Allied Pollution. So I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Allied Pollution to repair the manhole covers for set amount. So moved.
Second.
Second. Oh, aye.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
So are we
This is-
pursuing the refund of the?
Well, so now you bring me to the next thing. I'd like to add an executive session to the agenda, legal, to talk about a contractual issue with the
Okay.
sidewalks,
Okay,
which we will defer to the end of the meeting.
okay, sorry about that, jumping on.
All right, the last thing that I think we have is a free rabies vaccine clinic sponsored by the Putnam County Department of Health. It will be Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. at Veterans Memorial Park, 201 Gypsy Trail Road, Carmel, New York. You're good. And with that, we will open it up to public recognition. If any member of the public joining us here tonight has any comments or questions for the board, if you'd approach the mic, state your name and address for the record.
Not my town, I don't want to jump in front of all. Scott Seaman, Town of Southeast. I was at a Town of Southeast meeting, and I guess as we all know, they're all having similar lake problems with Tenetta. They just got some quotes and a bid from a company that is offering things you suggested, an aeration, starting out at 20, 30 different locations, and I don't know if it's an algaecide, but something similar to that. So I just want to, I'm sure they always reference you when they're talking about these things, so you might already know. But just to, to bring it up that they're looking at other items.
Sure.
As
We
well.
actually, I met with them with Sean Rogan about 2.5 years ago, and we had a long conversation about the direction we're, proposing to go with Putnam Lake. And they said, not much we can do here, you're on the right road. So,
It's good to hear.
there may be a point, so what they do is they do typically the standard aeration with an enzyme treatment.
That's it.
Right, and that may be something we're going to get to at some point in the future with Putnam Lake, but if, in my opinion, if we don't get the bulk of the sediment binding up the phosphorus out of the lake and deep in that lake, we're always gonna have a chronic problem with it.
Yeah, they said the same thing. The shape of Tenetta, everything funnels in.
Yep,
And there is 5 to 7 years worth of phosphorus at the bottom of the lake that you have to get rid of. Even if you stop any phosphorus from coming in, it will sit there forever, like you pointed out.
yeah. The difference is Tenetta Lake's 3 times deeper than Putnam Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes a huge difference.
And if I could just, one question more to Councilwoman Smith. I was at another Southeast meeting and they had a similar question in regards to, this is more on your traffic safety side. A number of local people had come up and there's a stretch on the outside of the village by the highway department. I think that's 202 there. It's 55 and then it goes down. And now that the Southeast and the village have improved that area, there's a lot more walking in the traffic. So the people in the area had come up and requested a traffic study. The board did issue them something going to the DOT, and I was just curious if these people, it would be in their interest, or your availability for them to approach you for any assistance that you might have, you know, in a similar type of thing. You know, like the more people involved in these things, the more it would be.
So I haven't seen that come up as an agenda item on that strip. I did see Turk Hill was involved in some speed issues, and also part of Tenetta Lake. So certainly if you email me, I'll bring the issue. We recently had a lot of board members vacate seats, and we just had an emergency meeting this week and we added on, and Supervisor Burdick from the town of Southeast is now a traffic safety board member and a voting member. So that's something that, you know, would probably be good for him to speak to as well. So you can send it to him. I talk to him frequently. I'll probably talk to him tomorrow morning and I'll bring it up. So you can send it to him or myself, but I'll make sure it gets on the next agenda.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
George, how's the library doing?
Library is doing fine. George Disbrow, Tammany Hall Road, and trustee with the library. Because this meeting went so quickly, I can take up a lot of time.
Yes, you can.
No dirty looks over here. All right? Just a few things. What I'm trying to do, I try to pick and choose activities from the library that are upcoming at different adult, teen, children levels. So here we go. We have free in-person tax help. AARP Foundation is offering Mondays through April 8th. Just go to the website to register for tax help. There's also going to be a Medicare drop-in health where you can ask questions regarding Medicare, Medicaid, and veterans health benefits. Again, go to the website to register. For you movie buffs, we have Oppenheimer coming up on the 14th, Thursday at 1 o'clock. And then there's a very interesting one. It's unfortunate that Mr. Cook is not attending tonight. We have History of the Yankees. An award-winning author, Marty Gitlin, is doing a presentation with videos and have his book there. And that's Thursday the 21st at 6:30. I'm almost done, folks. Here we go. And teen, we have a teen takeover. Hot chocolate bombs. All right, so the winter hasn't been that cold. Maybe we don't need all that hot chocolate, but it's going to be something for those teens on Tuesday, the 19th of March at 4 p.m., immediately followed by our Teen Leadership Council at 5 p.m., who's doing a bang-up job doing community things. They're really good. And the last thing that I'd like to say, I just want to remind people that we have at the library notary services and open computer help, tech help. We're not going to fix it, but open tech help with questions in notary services. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, George. Always informative. Anyone else? Hearing none, we will turn it to the members of our audience joining us by Zoom. If anybody on the Zoom link wishes to ask any questions or make any comments, if you would unmute, state your name and address for the record.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Joe Down, 149 State Court Road.
Hey, Joe.
How are you?
Good.
How are you? I'm up to the top of Birch Hill, and I just want to say I'm really excited to see the consideration of the elimination of the passing zone in that stretch. I almost got hit one day about a year ago pulling out. I work at Paul, and so as I'm merged as I'm merging onto 22, at the same time, somebody decided to start passing, and they were southbound, but, you know, luckily I have good brakes in my truck. So I'm looking forward to seeing that happen. As for the smoke shop, vape shop, in the hamlet, new law, I really appreciate that. I'm an ex-smoker and, tough to get away from that, but, good to keep it out of there. Would be something to consider, making that a town-wide thing at some point. I'd love to see that. I think, there's better things for us to see in little shops than something like that. But thank you. Thanks for that.
All right.
I think lastly, with what's going on at Putnam Lake, you know, I was the Patterson Memorial Park chair several years ago, and it would be nice. I know it's a separate park district, but it would be nice if Putnam Lake did get closed down this summer to maybe work out something where on a few of the hottest days, some of those kids could be invited over to the Patterson Memorial Park as guests. Sure, that would be take a little conversation, a little, but I think that'd be real nice. That's all. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was, just so everybody knows, there was a discussion at one point, and we need to probably renew that, trading Putnam Lake for Tenetta Lake. Trouble with Veterans Park is it's very, very shallow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can walk across the lake. So,
Well, at the north end, it's a little deeper.
all right, thank you, Joe. Anyone else?
Good night.
All right, hearing none, I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.